three 56-degree wedges, and they couldn't be any more different. And I'm not just talking about the bounce.
Be the right club today. Yes!
What's going on, guys? G2 here with 3-Putt Bogey, and today we're going to talk about wedges. We did a review on this guy, the DRT wedge from Maltby. There are big differences in wedges. Specifically, these are all 56-degree wedges, and while 56 degrees may be the loft, the bounces vary between the three, of course, but there are 2 or 3 other glaring differences that will completely change the way that your short game performs. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you are one of our loyal subscribers in our community, welcome back. Take a minute, leave a comment, leave a like. We love replying to comments. We reply to every single comment that is left. And again, if you're new and you like what you see, join the community. We do stuff like this all the time. So the first one here is the Maltby DRT wedge. This is their brand new line of wedges. They look fantastic. They're fully forged. They have this black diamondized finish on it. They also come in your standard pearl chrome finish. It's a 56 degree with 12 degrees of bounce. Pretty standard wedge, right? Maybe not. The next one is a Vokey. This is an SM8. I've had this for probably 3 years. I absolutely love it. It's always in my bag. Sharpen the grooves. It's good to go. This is a 56 degree, 8 degrees of bounce with an M grind. However, I have custom ground this to be way less than 8. It's probably more like 6 on this. I'm a low bounce kind of guy. Our third one is kind of a wild card because this one I just got on a whim about a year and a half ago. And this is the Maltby Milled Max. It's a 56 degree wedge. It is in 12 degrees of bounce off the rack, but we did do a little bit of modification to that sole to kind of relieve that bounce a little bit. So I would say it's probably around 10. The one thing that makes this different than all the others is, well, there's 2 things actually. The first is the face. That is a full groove face from toe to just about to the heel. You can see those grooves run the full length of the club. It's a really nice feature. The other really nice feature, and you may not think about it why it may be now, but you'll see in a second, is it has weight ports. So 3 screws that you can get on varying weights to adjust where that center of gravity is on the club. Now, why would that be important? We're going to get into that too. But Vokey doesn't have this. The other one doesn't have this. Really, I haven't seen any wedges out there that have an adjustable weight port where you can change the center of gravity or the sweet spot of the club. So 3 56 degree wedges, all very similar. There's a couple little features and benefits to the Max over the DRT or the Vokey, but what really makes these different? So the first big difference here is the center of gravity location, and the center of gravity is essentially where the sweet spot is on the club. On your wedges, you want that center of gravity to be as far away from the heel as possible, because this will give you the most flexibility with that wedge. When you open it up, the toe is more exposed than the heel. You don't ever want the best part of the club to be near the heel and near the hosel. And we all know why, because shanks will happen. So if you look at these examples, top is the Vokey. You can see that sweet spot is just perfect right on the toe, a little bit off of center, but more on the toe side. If you look at the Max Milled, which is the one in the middle, it is more towards the toe. Now that was manipulated by myself using the weights. Now the bottom is the DRT, and look at this one. This is so far off center heel side that you are in real danger of basically hitting the hosel when you're hitting a square shot. And then if you open it up, you have absolutely no chance of hitting that sweet spot. The other thing to notice too is as you open the club, your path along the face of the club changes. So when it's square, it's pretty straight, right? We're coming right up this line. But as we open it, now that line has changed to where we're coming this way, basically diagonal across the club face of the wedge. So the more grooves you have on the wedge, the better spin you're going to get. But also, as that changes, you're bringing the hosel more into the equation. So having the sweet spot out here, more grooves out here, is going to allow you to create a better shot and make a better strike. So it's clear in these examples that the DRT wedge has the worst sweet spot and center of gravity of the bunch. So now here in this image, you're looking at the top line, specifically the angle that it takes from the highest point of the wedge to the hosel. And you'll see Vokey on the top. It has a nice, very smooth, not aggressive line from the top to the hosel. Same with the Max milled. And then the DRT has a very sheer drop down, even further creating that sweet spot to be smaller and giving you less face grooves to work with. Now, when you open that up, that really makes that club look small, almost to the point of you're hitting, like, imagine opening up a 9-iron or an 8-iron and looking at it that way. It looks very, very small. So that top line will give you the impression and the image that the club is smaller, and it is from a pure material standpoint. So when you're looking at wedges, look at that top line in relation to where it finishes on the hosel. Is it very acute, or does it have a nice curve? More curve means more forgiveness, more grooves, more options for you to open that up and not have to worry about hitting it more on the toe. You can use all of the face. Now, to further illustrate this, just to kind of, maybe it was hard to see or with the lines or whatever, but here are them overlaid on each other. So the first one here, we have the DRT overlaid on the Maltby Max. And you can clearly see on this one, you can see the top line of that Maltby Max peeking through the bottom of the the top of the DRT. You can also see the rounded edge, the bottom, the trail edge of the Maltby milled peeking below the edge of the DRT. A rounded edge is going to allow you to get a better strike. It's going to give you less of the sole impacting the turf at the same time. So now let's look at the DRT over the Vokey. And this is night and day. I mean, I thought the Max was good, but this really shows why Vokey is the best. So it's like you have an entire eighth more of a club head on the Vokey here compared to the DRT. The bottoms are the same. They don't have a very rounded bottom. They're more square. But this one it's pretty blatant how small the DRT is compared to the Vokey. And then finally, we're going to do the Max over the Vokey. And here you can see that the Vokey just edges out the Max a little bit. You get a little bit more on the top, a little bit more on the high toe. So all in all, the Vokey is the best of the three. However, this Maltby Max, from a forgiveness standpoint and a benefit of being able to move that center of gravity to where you like it by adjusting the weights, I think it's just up there with the Vokey. So to kind of sum this all up, there's things that you absolutely need to be looking for when you are buying a wedge, no matter what it is. You want to be looking at the bottom edge. Does it have a rounded edge? A rounded edge is going to give you more forgiveness because it's not going to interact with the turf on the entire bottom. Look at the grooves. Obviously, this is a very unique club in that the grooves go from end to end. I like that personally. Some of the better manufacturers will do what's called micro face milling on their wedge faces. It won't technically be a groove, right? But it'll be almost like a very, very shallow milling on it. Kind of looks like a fingerprint, right? It doesn't do a ton for the toe, but it's there. It's not smooth. Other thing you want to look at is obviously the top line. What kind of top line and what angle do you take to the hosel? the more acute that it is, the smaller that club is going to look when you open it up. And then although checking center of gravity is difficult, you can absolutely do it at home. We did a video to show you how to do that. You have to take the club head off of the shaft and then measure it that way. But you can do it. A center of gravity towards the toe is going to be way more beneficial than one that is center or hosel left of center. An easy way to kind of look at this is you look at the back. This can be deceiving sometimes, but if you look at the back, you can see where is the majority of the weight on the club, and that'll kind of give you a good idea, but it's not foolproof because some hosels can be bored thicker or deeper or shallower than the others, and that will change where that center of gravity is based on the weight that is in here. The final thing I want to talk about is just bounce. We could do 20 videos just on bounce, but as a very, very quick reminder, more bounce you have, typically the more forgiving the club is, but it doesn't always mean the easier that it is to hit. For someone like me who doesn't use a lot of bounce in their wedges, I don't like it. I don't like that turf interaction. I prefer a smooth, kind of very clean hit on the golf ball. You want to keep that bounce under 8. For new players, I wouldn't suggest that, but you can fit yourself for your bounce, and we did a video on that too, and you can check that right here, and it'll show you how to figure out where you're interacting the turf, what does it look like, and how you can adjust it to kind of custom grind that wedge to your liking. So I hope all of this helped. Wedges are super important, guys. Like, we're not hitting greens, so we need to be getting up and down. And a good wedge will give you a better chance than one that isn't the best fit for you. So until next time, make sure that you swing as hard as you can, just in case you hit the ball. G2 out.